Hey, y'all. Welcome. It's Karanda with Carvel Digital, and this is sort of an emergency live. So, what happened is I put a post on Facebook. It was a pop quiz, and I was asking people what is the easiest way to fix your marketing for your service business? And I got a ton of answers. None of them were, I'm not going to say the right answer. I'm going to say none of them were what I was thinking about when I posted the question. Um, and so I wanted to come and talk about that because if you have listened to my podcast or, watched or listened to any of my other content, I talk about this all the time. And the thing that you need to fix is your offer. And so I want to talk more about that, explain like why is that the easiest thing? It's not necessarily that it's easy to fix your offer if your offer's not not compelling enough for your people, but it's the easiest way to fix your marketing, and I'll prove it to you. So I live in Portland, Oregon, and in 1980, Mount St. Helens erupted, and I live far enough away that we weren't in any danger, but the ash from that eruption like covered the city. And it was everywhere. You could literally just like walk through it. And so I was probably, let's see, I was 9. I was 9 when this happened. And so I thought, "Oh, I'll be a budding young entrepreneur and I will collect this ash." And so I collected a bunch of ash in like little plastic bags and I tried to sell it. And guess what? Nobody wants to buy a bunch of volcanic ash when like the whole city is covered in it. It's supply and demand, right? It's not a good offer, right? So I could have invested, hundreds of thousands of dollars in marketing this ash, but trying to sell it to people who are already covered in it, that's just not a good offer, right? So let's talk about another example, a more current example. I have a client who runs a dog related business. So she takes dogs on dog adventures, does dog sitting, like anything. I actually have lots of dog trainer friends, and they are inundated right now because we've been in a pandemic for over a year and everybody was getting a dog. Like shelters were practically empty. And we have friends who had to get up at like 2 in the morning to go get in line so that they could get a puppy from a shelter because everybody was stuck at home. Everybody's like, I need a puppy right now, or I need a dog, or I need a cat, right? The pet industry is blowing up right now. So if you do anything with pets right now, like you're in great shape because like everybody's got pets. So that is the value of having an offer. And the reason that I was inspired to do this live is because someone in a group that I'm in a Facebook group, was posting for help, right? She's been trying to market using her Facebook page for 2 years, right? And anybody who knows like anything about marketing and about Facebook will tell you that Facebook pages, like organic reach on Facebook pages, has been dead for many years now. So, for lack of the right strategy and the right advice, she's been trying this thing that it's just not going to work. Like there's very, very little chance of it working. And when someone asked her what she did, her offer was just as generic as it could possibly be. It was like she might as well have said, I do everything for everyone. Right. So there's nothing compelling enough for people to recognize themselves. Right. When I created this video, this live, I titled it with marketing for service business owners because that's who I help and that's specific. So, if you're a product person, like, yeah, you might get something out of this, but it's not exactly for you. Right. So you have to be specific. So I'm always talking about offer audience messaging, and the offer comes first for a reason. Because if your offer is compelling and people have to have it, then it's going to make it so much easier. It's going to make every single thing in the process so much easier because you're going to be able to get specific. You're going to be able to use language that calls specifically the people who need what you have. And then that's when you can start to get in like, okay, I have the specific offer. Now, who are the people who really, really need this offer? Indigo says this Ash story is entrepreneurial gold, right? So, so if you're live and you have questions about this or you're struggling with your own offer, like I'm totally open to chat about this. And I'm going to be doing more of these lives in the month of August. So if you're not on my email list yet, go to carveldigital.com and get on the email list so you get notified about these things. Um, so and if you're struggling with this in general, like this is what I do. This is what I help people with. And I have a 12-week content boot camp. And I created that because I started as a web developer. And what I noticed is that I was doing web projects for people who didn't really understand how to market themselves online. They thought the website was going to fix everything. And you should say your name too. Say your name, because if you haven't given Facebook permission to see who you are, then I can't see who you are. So, but hi Indigo, and hi whoever else has joined. Um, so, the boot camp came around because I was creating websites for these people, and then I realized, oh, you think this website is going to save you, and your website's just a tool. It's just a marketing tool, and if you don't have a strategy and a plan for how it fits into your business, it's not going to save you, and it's an expensive tool if you get it done well. So I decided to flip that on its head, and I quit making websites altogether, and I said, okay, I'm going to teach people like how to actually market themselves online, how to be people online, because that's really the first step, right? Is once you get your offer dialed in, you figure out who it's for. Then the third part is messaging. Hey, Kia, good to see you. Um, Third part is messaging, right? And the messaging piece is where many people get stuck, specifically when it's online. Like I talk to people all the time, and if you put them on a stage, if you put them at a networking meeting, if you put them, one to one with somebody, they can sell all day long. But something about the screen and these ones and zeros just causes them to clam up. Like maybe it's the pressure of it being like the internet. And so technically, anybody in the world could see what you're doing. I don't know, but something happens to people, um and that's where I come in, right? I just help people, bridge that gap between being their sort of effervescent and magnetic selves in person to being able to translate that online and put it into content. Because once you can do that, once you can put yourself into content, and that content is able to attract the people that you want, and that content is able to convince people or show people that you understand their problem and that you have the solution, well, now you can scale. So if you've ever had the phenomenon where, you realize you need clients and you start hustling and hustling, hustling to get clients. And then you get clients, and then your marketing dies because now you're serving those clients and you don't have time to be on Facebook all day. You don't have time to be on Instagram and make stories every day. You don't have time to write emails every day. If that's you, then the first step to getting out of that is to, one, figure out what marketing works, which is what I help you do inside of Bootcamp. And then two, the second step is to start to automate those things that are working. And I actually have an agency where I help people do that second part, but we got to do the first things first. And so it's much more fun for me to have people come in and coach them through these marketing blocks and have them actually be making money. Right. And then once that's happening, then you can hire the other help you need. If you're not into doing the technology, if there's other places you need help in your business, once you have revenue, so many things open up to you. So that's why Bootcamp exists. And if you're interested in that, you can go to carveldigital.com/apply. And that's just for you to tell me some information about yourself and your business and what you're stuck on. And then we have a conversation. So let me see what folks are saying. Kristen's here. Not sure. Oh, yeah, Kristen, whatever you did, it worked. So I could see you. And Carolyn Michael Banks is here. Someone says, I really had to learn how to people online. Karanda and her team are geniuses. Thank you. Thank you so much. Yeah, there's a link in the main group to have from StreamYard to get permission to see who you are. So if you're watching this from my Facebook group, which, by the way, if you're not in my Facebook group and you want to be, it's Service CEOs on Facebook. Let me see if I have a link to. Oh, yep, there we go. So if you want to be in my Facebook group, you can go to carveldigital.com/CEO, and that will take you to it. And you can join. It's totally free. And, I post nuggets like this fairly often. Do y'all have questions? Those of you who are here live, if you have questions or comments, or if you struggle with your offer, like, let's talk about it. And I'm going to start doing more of these in August. So I'm excited to keep having these conversations. But, I wanted to talk about some of the answers that came in actually to this question. Um, so let me find that. All right. So there were actually a lot of good answers, but none of them were the first thing. So we had like mindset, marketing, fix your messaging, um, fix your energy, fix your colonized BS narratives. I love that one. Fix your assumptions, fix your budget, fix your story, data. Another one for messaging. Lots of votes for messaging. Messaging, absolutely, it's important, right? It's in the top three. But again, you can have the best messaging in the world, but if you're talking to the wrong people, i.e., people covered in ash, then it's not going to work. Um, One of my favorite answers, let me see if I can find it. Um, Someone said, oh, let's see. Well, finally, someone said offer. It took about 20 comments before somebody actually got the right answer. Outsourcing, intention, your content, your customer value journey, your website. I used to think that. I used to think you had to fix your website in order to fix your marketing, but the website's just a tool, right? So you can make plenty of money without a website. And I've known tons of people that did. And as a web developer, I never thought I would say that, but I actually don't make websites for people who haven't proven their offer and aren't actually generating revenue on a regular basis. So you don't need a website to make money. Systems, I've said in my podcast several times, if you automate crap, then you just have automated crap. So the time to fix your systems is after you have been successful with your offer, after you've manually proven that what you are doing works, then you can start to systemize it. Then you can start to automate it. Product market fit and understanding of customer journey. So that's getting closer to it. I really want to find this answer that I loved so much. Um, I I'll summarize. It was basically like fix your like basically your BS mindset, like whatever's holding you back from being able to show up. And I work with a lot of people who, in the past have struggled to show up, have struggled to really put themselves out there for whatever reason, whether it's fear or uncertainty or lack of confidence. So that is also a big one. That's probably in the top 5, I would say, because if you're not showing up, then people can't people can't find you. So I hope this is helpful. If you've been struggling with your marketing, couple of things I want you to take away from this. One is, make sure that your offer is actually like compelling. And let me see if I can find, because I did a podcast episode just a couple of weeks ago, and it talks about riding the waves of marketing. And I want to put that link in for you. Um, because I talk about the fact that it actually doesn't matter what medium, which social media platform you're on, whether you use email or whether you use video or whether you don't use video. Like none of that matters as much as you just being really, really solid in your offer, being really confident in your offer, knowing that you have something that people need and being able to like put it out there. And so I talk about that in this podcast, and you can get to it. It's called Riding the Waves of Marketing. It is episode number 31. So you go to episode number 31 on my podcast, which is called Begin As You Mean to Go On. You can hear me talk more about that. So important. So being undeniable, being really confident, having an amazing offer, way, way more important than what platform you're on, what the exact words you use, the emails that you send. All of that is less important than your attitude and how you show up, because people feel that. And then the other thing I would love you to take away from this is don't be like the woman who inspired this video and just be banging your head against the wall for 2 years. Okay. You have to get help. It is so much more costly for you to be out here just throwing spaghetti at the wall than investing in some help. And I have 8.5 years worth of resources, most of them free. I have tons of free and low cost products to help you kind of start to learn about this, and get like start to claw your way out of this if this is something you're struggling with. Kristen says, here's my issue. I get so tired of hearing myself say and write things over and over that sometimes I'm not sure anymore if I'm being clear as I continue to market the dang thing. So I totally hear that. And one of the revelations that I had a couple of years ago is that if you're getting sick of yourself with your marketing, then you're probably on the right track, because a lot of people think, oh man, people are so sick of hearing me talk about this. Like, I've been a broken record for so long. And like, people are not seeing the majority of your messages. I mean, you talk about the half life of a tweet or an Instagram post, or like trying to get reach. Like, it's so much more difficult to actually get people to see your content, that they're not getting sick of it because they're not seeing most of it. You're the only one that's seeing and experiencing it, 100% of the time, right? So if you're getting sick of it, that probably means you're on the right track. And the other thing to know is, um, what are your results, right? Because if you're doing the same thing over and over again, but it's not working, like, are you getting clients? That's the metric that you need to be paying attention to, right? Are you getting new leads? Are people attracted enough to your messaging to come get into your world? When I posted that pop quiz, and I saw the answers, and that's when I decided, okay, I need to go live about this. And then I was like, okay, if you want to see this live, you need to hop into my group. So, now I have 5 or 10 more people who are now in my sphere of influence, because I stepped out there. And then because I said, okay, if you want the goods, like, here's what you have to do to get it. So if you're getting results, i.e. you're getting more leads, and some of those leads are becoming clients, then you're on the right track. If you're not getting the results you want, then you have to keep continually going back and tweaking and figuring out, like, what is the missing link, right? It's going to be one of those things. It's going to be your offer, your audience, or your messaging, because all three of those things have to be right. And once those things are right, it's still going to take you a while to build your audience and to gain momentum. It just depends where you're starting. So she says, oh, I know. Yeah. So it's just this constant loop of, you're putting things out there, you're seeing what the response is, what the engagement is, you're evaluating the results of that, and then you're tweaking as necessary. And that really is the marketing loop. And that's one of the reasons I have a boot camp and not a course, is because the implementation is what people struggle with. The implementation is, how long can you do the right thing because it's the right thing? Something one of my mentors used to always say, because you might start out, a lot of people come in and they start putting themselves out there, and they come back to our coaching call and say, well, it's not working. Nobody's engaging with my stuff. And I say, okay, let's look at it. And we look at it. I'm like, well, you've got like 15 likes and you've got a couple comments. And it's like, well, that's just my friends. I'm like, you know what? That's how it starts. That's how it starts. And you have to like push that snowball up the hill until you can get momentum. And then it's not as painful. And once you know what's working, that's when you can start to automate it, so that you're not saying things over and over again, and you don't have to experience it, and you don't have to show up live all the time. Like, I don't actually show up live all the time. Like, I do a lot of work through my email marketing. It's a lot of through my content. I'll give you a perfect example. In June, I did a workshop. I did a live workshop called Content to Clients. And I'll put a link to that in the description. And so I did this live workshop and ran it, had a bunch of people show up to it. It went really well. People got a ton out of it. And then the very next thing I did was to automate selling the recordings of that workshop. So I put all that stuff into place. People can now, get onto my email list. They can learn about the workshop. They can buy the workshop. And that's all done through emails that I wrote, 6 weeks ago. So I literally went camping for a week, and I came back to a bunch of Stripe notifications from people buying products from things that I did before. So I don't. Kristen says, is this a hologram AI version of you today? No, it's really me. So that's how you capitalize. You find what works, and then you can start to automate it. And but it can be an uphill battle, which is why you need support. So I'm going to throw up the link one more time. If you're struggling with this stuff and you want to get help, you want to get like personalized help, and really have me like help you and guide you every week. We do that through Content Bootcamp. So the link to apply for that is carveldigital.com/apply. And if you're not quite ready to take that step, you can go over to, you can join us over in the Facebook group, carveldigital.com/CEO, and you can go check out the podcast. The episode 31, Riding the Waves of Marketing, particularly relevant to this discussion today. So those of you that showed up live, thank you so much. I am going to start doing more of these because I haven't really been dabbling in doing lives in a while, and so I like getting out here and like talking to the people. So thank y'all for showing up. I'm gonna peace out for now, but I will see you in the future. And until I do, don't forget to begin as you mean to go on.